Zach is back with another Netflix original review. Alright everybody, I watched Sextuplets. Let me go ahead and tell you this complicated story in this movie Sextuplets. So Marlon Wayans stars as Alan, and he's a pretty funny actor. I actually like that actor. But this movie is just not good. I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic. I'm getting way into my opinions, haven't even told you the story yet. Let me tell you the story. Basically, his wife is about to give birth to his baby, and they go to the doctors. And the doctor asks him, hey, like, what's your family's medical history? You know, usually stuff that doctors ask, you know, especially before having a child. And he says, I don't know. I was adopted, so I don't know my parents, I don't know my family. So after that, he kind of gets this thoughts in his head, and he goes, oh man, I don't know my family, what should I do? Let me go ahead and think and look through my family tree and, you know, where I came from, you know? So what he does is he ends up going to meet his birth mother, and he finds out that he has 5 other brothers and sisters or whatever, because he's one of the 6 in a sextuplet. So there you go, that's the story, and each one of the kids he decides to go and visit. And each one of them are like, you know, wacky and wany and cartoony and completely annoying. So let me go ahead and get to my opinion, because that's basically the story, it's done, there's nothing else more intriguing or involved, you know, than that. That's it. He went to go meet his family. The movie consists of, like, slapstick humor, stereotyping, and, like, cartoon antics. You know, slapstick, falling over, you know, yelling at people, and different funny-sounding, you know, the way you say it and stuff like that. It's bad. It's just bad. There's no actual writing or comedy involved in it. It's very slapsticky. It's very cartoony. It's like, you have to be brain dead to actually like this movie when it comes to the comedy aspect of it. Don't get me wrong, I actually like slapstick humor and stupid writing. The problem is that it has to be laced with good dialogue. You know, like, you can be stupid in a movie and have the movie be funny. Like, for example, Dumb and Dumber. But because that movie had good writing and it was laced in the material, it is funny. You know, just the way that everything kind of works out, the dialogue, the way they explain the jokes, you know, the way the punchlines are. And also, too, Jim Carrey is just like a slapstick masterpiece when it comes to things. He has such good physical humor that it's hard to even compete against that. Or it's even hard to compare, you know? But in Sextuplets, you can tell that there's zero writing involved in the comedy, and that Marlon basically just improvised basically 100% of all the dialogue in the movie. I mean, it feels like that. It feels like all of it's improvised, like, just coming off like the cuff, like, you know, oh, maybe this will be funny, and he just blurts it out, you know? And that's not good comedy. You know, comedy actually, you have to have a brain to make comedy work, you know what I mean? It has to have some sort of punchline, it has to have the way you deliver it has to have the timing, it has to have a lot of things to make a good joke, you know? And for a movie to have a runtime of, like, you know, let's say an hour and a half, you have to have a lot of good jokes and a lot of interesting dialogue, story arc, and, well, I wouldn't say just story arc, but you have to have a good, interesting story that actually kind of catalysts the jokes, you know what I mean? You can't just be like, you're in a car and you're just going to start saying jokes, you know? There has to be some sort of meaningful story that actually helps the jokes out, you know, kind of like The Hangover. You know, the movie was funny, but the setting and what happens in the movie also helps the movie to be funny, because it's just an obscene situation, you know? This movie barely even has that, too. It's just that the situation isn't that funny to begin with, and then they try to make it funny with, like, really flat dialogue and basically no jokes at all. I mean, it's not even jokes. It's just him, like, blurting out stupid things and acting dumb. It's not jokes, okay? Like, I like Marlon Wayans, but there's no way that just his charisma in itself is going to make a good movie. That's just it. It's not possible. It's not humanly possible to do that. Jim Carrey, other, you know, amazing, funny actors and stuff like that will not be able to do that. You know, no matter who you think of. So, why are you trying it in this movie? This movie is either, like, just a cash grab, or it's just, like, trying to play off of the nostalgia of movies like The Nutty Professor, you know? Things that worked maybe back in the 90s, but probably don't work today, kind of like movies like Twister. Like, Twister worked back then, but a lot of these, like, disaster movies are just not going to work nowadays, you know? It's just a time, you know? To be honest with you, this movie made me laugh a couple of times, but it wasn't on purpose. It was like, kind of like an annoyed laughter, like, you know, it's one of those awkward laughs that you're just like, oh my god, this movie is so bad, that it actually kind of makes me chuckle. It's like, how did this actually get placed on screen. Like, who like, okayed this? It's that bad. It's really, really bad. I mean, I can't get into how bad this movie is. I'm just going to give it an F. I'm not going to go any further into it. Please don't watch this movie. You know, unless you just absolutely have to. I mean, you need to, like, get just shit-faced drunk before you watch this movie, before it actually becomes funny. Or, if you know things about comedy, you'll just laugh because it's just so bad that you're laughing out of pity. So, I give it an F. There you go, guys. So please, guys, comment below. Let me know what you think about this movie. Please like, share, and subscribe, and do all of that YouTube business. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see ya!